Hi guys, if you saw my first video, welcome back and thank you for deciding to stick around while hopefully I figure out this whole YouTube thing. Today we are going to talk about all the books I read in November, but in September of 2024, my house was hit by Hurricane Helene. It was almost completely gutted, and in that process I lost a whole 20-foot wall of built-in bookshelves. They had to be torn out, and through some different situations that came up in the process of fixing our house, some of it's not done yet, even though it's been like 14 months. I am waiting on another contractor to get us a quote to finish the rest of the work, but because of that, all of my books, or almost all of my books, are in boxes. So I have a like a catalog in an app of all the books that I own and whether they've been read or not. So I can go through and I can see which books I own that I have not read. So I am trying to prioritize books I have not read yet that I own, but sometimes I cannot access the actual book and I'm borrowing it on Libby. So because of that, I won't always have the book to show you, even if I say that it's a book that I read from my physical TBR, because that book is in one of like 30 boxes at least. I own over 900 fiction books, which are mostly sci-fi and fantasy. So fine. So in November I read 11 books. 7 out of 11 of them were on my physical TBR. 2 of them were rereads, and I listened to all of them on audio. I'm not usually much of an audiobook reader. They're very hit and miss for me. I tend to be more likely to dislike the book if I've listened to it on audio. There's some exceptions of books I think are just better on audio, like Spinning Silver was great on audio. It really helped with the atmosphere. But for the most part, I don't like audiobooks. However, for the month of November, that was all the capacity I had for reading, was listening to it. So I have some of them here physically, some of them are in boxes, but I did listen to all of them on audio. So we'll start with, Breath of the Dragon by Fonda Lee and Shannon Lee. This was boring. I really want to like this because I really like the Green Bones Saga by Fonda Lee, and this just was not compelling for me in any way. Asian inspired fantasies can be difficult for me. Usually I find the ones that are based off of like a mythology story to be harder for me to get into. This follows a young man, and he and his father get banished from their country, and all he wants is to be like a martial arts practitioner. He just wants to be really good at martial arts. He practices it, but his dad doesn't want him doing anything with it, and he leaves his home to compete in a competition of martial arts. It just was not compelling. This guy can't see anything else. He's really good. It's unfortunate his dad doesn't want him participating in anything related to martial arts, but that's kind of it. That's all I got for this. This was not for me. Next we have my reread of Empire the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. Fantastic. This is the 3rd time I've read it, and it's just fantastic. I read it the first time when it came out, or about around when it came out. I read it again when the second book came out, and I read it again in anticipation of reading book 3. This is just a good book. There's nothing really else to say. it follows basically a vampire hunter who has been captured by the vampires after the vampires win. And he's recounting his life story. So, that doesn't necessarily sound super compelling, but the vampires in here, right? There's like 4 or 5 houses of vampires, and they all have different abilities. So you have that kind of aspect of when they're going up against this vampire from this house, the challenges are different because these ones are super, super strong. Or these ones can read minds, or whatever it is. But then this man's story is just so interesting because he doesn't give a fuck anymore. He just doesn't care anymore. He used to be a believer, not a believer anymore. Basically, it follows him from a boy in one timeline, and then at some point in that timeline, he doesn't want to talk about it anymore. So then he goes to another timeline, which is more recent, and we're following that story. So it's almost like we're getting 3 different stories in this story, but it's all the same guy, because it's his first timeline, this kind of middle one, and then we're also getting him in present day when he's talking to this vampire, giving him his life story. It's good. Okay, and Jay Kristoff has a thing against horses, so this might be the type of book that you would want to check the content warnings. If you have problems with the death of animals, could be a problem for you. Cursing, questioning religion. There's just a lot in here. And, I mean, there's a lot in here. So, I honestly can't recommend this enough. I got my mother-in-law to read it. I'm sure there's a fantasy reader that this is not for. I don't know who that would be. Anyone I can think of would like this. If you like fantasy. And these are not good vampires. They're not sparkly vampires. We're eventually going to get everybody, and then we're going to have nothing to eat vampires. It's really good. And we'll just keep going with that one. And I also reread Empire of the Damned. We're getting more of his story. In book 1, we kind of finish with that first timeline, and we kind of get up to present day. Well, not up to present day, but up to where that second storyline starts. This, we get more of the second storyline and present day. And another character is also being interviewed by the vampire that is interviewing our main character. Gabriel. Gabriel's our main character. So, it just expands out. And then you're getting more of the story. And the end of this, when I reread this, I had forgotten how much the ending is, how much of a reveal the ending is. And I'm so excited to read book 3. Okay. I read Immortal by Sulin Tan. This is another story in the Daughter of the Moon Goddess kind of world. It was fine. Every subsequent book I read that's related to it, I like less and less. Like I said, Asian mythology stories aren't my favorite. I did like Daughter of the Moon Goddess, but I think it's just been too long since I read it to really get all of the connections that were happening with Immortal. So it was fine, but I think I'll probably be done with those, any books related to Daughter of the Moon Goddess from here on out. I just can't. I don't like it enough to go back and reread it, and so I'll just be lost. Not lost, but I won't, they'll hit less and less because I won't understand what the connections are, where the overlap is happening. Next, I read Us Against You by Frederick Bachman. This is the second book in the Bear Town trilogy. This stuff is heavy. It's heavy topics. It doesn't necessarily feel heavy because of his narration style. His narration style is a little bit more removed, which allows you to read these things without totally getting emotionally bogged down. I'm not going to say I'm enjoying these, but they're good books. Like, they are well written. It's an interesting exploration of a hockey town after a star hockey player, does something he shouldn't, and how that affects all of the people that we follow, right? His teammates, his best friend, the girl, her best friend, her mom and dad, her brother, the school environment, the hockey club that is in the town. We literally look at how it affects everything, and then the ripples that it has in the community. They're good. They're really good books. I recommend, if you, just content warnings because it is a sensitive topic. Next, I read Have I Told You This Already by Lauren Graham. I really like Lauren Graham. Obviously, Gilmore Girls is mostly where I like her from, though I have seen some of her other movies. But I have read, I think this is my third book of hers. Probably not my favorite, but it's short, and I just kind of like being in her head. She's fun. She's kind of like that cool aunt everybody wishes they had. And so yeah, I recommend, if you're a Lauren Graham fan, Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. This is my second TJ Klune. Yes, because I read In the Lives of Puppets. This was really good. Follows a guy who is a lawyer, and he kind of lives for his work. He has basically no human connections, and he doesn't see anything wrong with this. I don't even think he realizes he doesn't have any human connections, and he dies. And this is about what happens to him after he dies. He goes to a place that's kind of like an in-between place and meets some people there, and it's kind of about how it's not too late to connect to people and change the trajectory of your life, even though he's not alive, and be better and do better. And he doesn't shy away from. That was the one thing about this that I didn't quite work for me, was there was no good reason that he looked at himself and changed. Besides the fact that he died. Like, I feel like he could have just as well died and been like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, and then just moved on. The only thing you could say is maybe that the people he met there were more compelling in a way that, in conjunction with the traumatic event of dying, kind of coalesced, but it was fast and it was easy for him. It felt easy for him. So I liked it. There's definitely themes in here. I do think it was a little, it wasn't hard earned for this main character. I think he just kind of was like, oh, I'm going to start being nice now. And that's a little unbelievable, but it's cute. A lot of found family in here. Is dead. And normally you wouldn't think happy ending at the end of that. Alright. Next we have Dune Messiah, which is Dune number 2. I originally read Dune a couple years ago. I physically read it. And at the time, I was visiting my parents. My dad was struggling with dementia. And I was just like, okay. Like, I don't get it. I don't get why people like this. Like, it was fine, but, like, I don't get it. And then, I decided I was going to watch the movie next. And I was going to reread the book. So I watched Dune Part 1. And then I listened to Dune. And then I was like, okay. I'm seeing it now. I'm not like a mega fan, but it didn't completely go over my head. Then this month, well, last month, I went and read Children of Dune, which is book number 3, and God Emperor of Dune, which is book number 4. And I will continue through book 6. Then I'm going to stop, because that's when his son starts writing, and there's like a million after that, and I think 6 is just good. We're just going to leave it at 6. It's not a story where you're going to love the characters. It's definitely more of a theme plot book, because we don't necessarily follow the characters for that long. I mean, Children of Dune is literally is about the children of Paul from Dune. Like, Paul's already not in the story. So, definitely can't go into it thinking, oh, I'm going to get attached to these characters. I'm going to leave these characters. I'm going to follow these characters' story. Because you're not following these characters' story. You're following the story of Dune, the planet Dune. And the last one is thousands of years in the future. And things happen. And I'm not really sure where we're going after this. And I would like a little bit more of them, like, telling us or showing us about how they... Because the idea is that the children of Dune, children of Paul, have made some decisions that are going to save humanity, the planet, the galaxy. They don't get super specific about what we were avoiding by taking the path that they took. It might be nice to see some of that. I don't know if that's going to happen in books 5 or 6, because at the end of book 4, we've kind of moved past what was needed to happen in order to do that. So I don't know, we'll see. But I'm taking a little break from Dune right now, and working on my 10 before the end. And then the last book I read in the month of November is Natural History of Dragons. It's the Lady Trent Memoirs by Marie Brennan. I liked that a lot more than I thought I would. I've had it on my physical TBR for a while now, and I was just like, oh, okay, it's memoirs, dragons. It'll probably be fun. I really liked it. Obviously, I listened to it on audio, because I listened to all of them on audio. And it was really good. It reminded me a lot of Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, in kind of the way... Well, it's narrated by somebody with an accent, so there's that. The main character is a woman from a kind of prestigious family who has an unladylike interest in academia, specifically dragons, which in Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, she has an unladylike interest in fairies. So, the difference here being that in Emily Wilde's books, she can become an expert in her field. And in the Lady Trent memoirs, she's just someone with like basically a backyard hobby. I'm doing this because I love it. I can't go to school for this and get like a degree and become an expert and write books and things. So that seems like, but generally very similar concepts. I like Emily Wilde's better. I like the characters better. And I've read more of them. There's, I think, 6 of the Lady Trent memoirs. Let me see. Yes, there's 6 of them. So I am going to keep reading those at some point. I'll probably listen to them because I did like the audiobook narration so much. And we'll see how those go. I know she's a mom later on because it's kind of like she's writing it and looking back. So we do learn a little bit about how her life went even after the events of that book. And one of them is she does become a mother. So if you're looking for mother figures in your fantasy, there's another one. I know a few. There's a few. Alright, so that's everything I read in the month of November. I don't know. Tell me, what did you guys think? Did you guys like any of these books? Did you hate them? Did anybody feel the same way I did about Breath of the Dragon, or am I in the minority? I don't hear anybody talking about this. I just picked it up because I really liked Fonda Lee's Greenbone Saga, and then it's written with Shannon Lee, who is Bruce Lee's daughter. So I don't know. I hope other people liked this. It didn't work for me. And thank you guys so much. Bye.